All right, so I'm out at the Science Center. It's the observatory. No snow yet, nice sunset, hooray. First step is when you're used to, mask up. Also fill out the COVID self-assessment. And then enter the building. And once you're inside, first thing is to turn off the outside lights. So you enter the building and go to the right. You'll come to room 110. And there's a light switch on the wall here for turning off the outside lights. Next, we'll head over to the control room. So you go past the bison into what looks like a large classroom. Sometimes there's a divider set up. As you walk in, the lights will turn on. We get to the control room. In here, there's two things you need to know about. Probably more, but three things, I guess. So this big blue box is called the Motor Driver Chassis, or MDC. It contains the electronics for controlling the telescope, and if we look at the back of it here, you can see there's a bunch of wires going into the top of the control unit here. Each one of these gray cables that comes out goes to something out in the dome. So there's a cable for the brightest engine and declination motors, cable for the dome motor, cable for each of the controllers. And then this control unit on the top talks to an ordinary computer down on the bottom, and they're connected by this single cable. The on-off switch for the computer is a little unusual. It's behind this door, and you push the power button to turn it on. The monitor that we're using is up on top here. That stuff should be on. If it doesn't come on, there's a power strip up here that you may need to turn on. And then it's just a single power strip now up here. A little later in the setup, you'll need to plug in the connection to the camera. And after you set up out the dome, when you come back into the control room and are looking at the instructions where it says to plug in the camera, this is where you do it. To get to the observatory, go out the control room door, turn right. Incidentally, please don't bring food or drink into the control room. We do occasionally get mice in there. Ate the control computer. So you go out the door, turn right, and see the observatory building across a little sidewalk. So here we are. And it's going to be a little slippery during the winter, so watch your step. Okay, so when you go into the telescope building, there's a light switch on the right. Make sure you turn that off when you leave. Had a couple of times I've accidentally left the lights on, and I'm sitting in the control room trying to figure out why the pictures look strange. There's basically two parts to the building. There's a set of stairs that take you up to the deck where the telescope is. And then down underneath is mostly used for storage. There's one thing you'll need down here. It's a light switch up here that I just turned on. This box connects the camera and the filter wheel that are attached to the telescope. It connects those to the control room, and there's two things you need to plug in. One is you plug this yellow cable into the control box, and then the other is plug the power strip, there we go, or power connector into the wall. And then you'll want to unplug those at the end of the night. And we do that to make sure that the to make sure that the camera and the filter wheel, which together are about $20,000, are not connected electrically to anything in the event that there's a lightning strike or something like that. And again, make sure you turn off the lights when you leave this little under the observatory spot. And then here I am up at the main level of the telescope in a normal light. First thing you would do is open the dome, and there are detailed instructions in that I'll send to you, but there's two pieces to it. One is an electrical control box that's plugged into the wall, has this big switch on it, and then a plug, which is usually either sitting up here on the edge of the dome or sometimes down here on the stepladder. And the end of this plug gets plugged into the connector up here. And then you throw the switch and the dome opens. The other part of opening the dome, and we'll go through this in more detail when you come out here, is to use this hand crank to lower the bottom part of the dome. So the motor that we just talked about lifts up the top part of the dome here that has the metal track in it, and then this lower part of it without the metal track in the middle is lowered with the hand crank. Once that's got started, you can would normally plug in the camera and the filter wheel. Okay, so I am going to record a quick video of plugging in and turning on the camera and filter wheel. Not that I think you need a video showing you how to plug in a cord, but there are a couple sounds to listen for that let you know that things are working normally. So when I turn this on, you're going to hear some clicking. The clicking is coming from the filter wheel here as it rotates to its home position, and you can hear the fan is cycled on from the camera, and you can see a flashing red LED. You hold your hand here, you'll feel a breeze as the cooling fan blows air out the back of the camera. Okay, we've got the dome opening, so there's a short video showing that. It's not really exciting, just moves super fast. You can see the cable is plugged in here, and I've got the switch through to one side or the other. I never remember which side is which, so I just look at one way, and if the dome moves the way I want it, then I'm happy. If it doesn't, I move the switch the other way. I'm not going to lower the lower part of the slit tonight because I'm just running a few test images. But I do want to let you know you need to take that shower cap off the top of the telescope. And the way to do that is to take the ladder that is normally over by the slit crank and move that ladder over by the telescope. So I'm going to do that and be right back with you. So that's where I like to put it. I've got it sort of, the face up against the corner of the telescope here, and then I'll climb up. And I usually need to go all the way to the top and then grab the cap and lift it off. It has some Velcro. And depending on how it was stowed, that Velcro, there's a little hole here too, that Velcro may be strapped around this counter weight support here. So just be aware of that. Watch your step. And then I usually put the shower cap back over here to sit while I'm observing. And then do please try to remember to put that shower cap back on at the end. If you don't, literal bugs fall into the filter wheel down here. So let's see, I'm going to flip the dome switch back to neutral and then use this little step ladder to reach up and unplug the connector. Please try not to forget that. If you do forget it and the dome starts to spin, it will come unplugged on its own, and you won't be the first one to have forgotten it, but it's not the best thing for cables. And remember to turn the light down here off, and turn this light off as you head back towards the building. It looks super duper dark out here. It's actually not that hard to see. You'll see trains going by in the distance. Doubt the camera's going to pick them up, but oh yeah, you can see Jupiter there, and to its left, I don't think it's showing up with the camera, is Mars. I'll go back into the control room. And the software open on the screen here is the telescope control software. You'll look at the instructions, written instructions for that. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug in the cables for this end of the USB extender. I don't understand why we have to unplug this at the end of the night and then plug it back in, but when we do that, the camera detects, or the computer detects the camera just fine, and if we don't do that, it doesn't, so we just do it. So listen for the sound that you're going to hear when I plug in the USB cable. That boop-ba-da-boop means that the camera was found, and if you click on this little USB icon thingy down here, you can see both the camera and the filter wheel are there.